Welcome to California Waterfowl Association's virtual wetland tour, where you can see the beauty of the wetlands without leaving your desk or your computer. California's historic wetlands once covered over 4 million acres. However, large-scale flood control, water supply projects, conversion to agriculture, and urbanization eventually reduced California's wetland habitat by over 95%. With this loss, the state's wintering waterfowl population also declined by some 90%, while many wetland-dependent species have become threatened or endangered. These historic wetlands relied on seasonal precipitation and natural flooding, and they supported a staggering 40 to 50 million waterfowl. In his excerpt from his book, Battling the Inland Sea, Robert Kelly gives us an idea of what it must have been like back then. Together, the ponds in the basin annually created a vast inland sea. These basins contain immense swamps of tules, standing 10 to 15 feet high. Birds of all descriptions swept overhead in flocks that darkened the sky, making the air clamorous with the sound of their wings and their loud cries. In the 1930s, concerned hunters worked with federal and state governments and private landowners and initiated a host of restoration and enhancement projects to address the loss of wetlands in California. Unlike historical wetlands of years past, today's wetlands must be artificially irrigated and intensely managed, relying on essentially the same water storage and delivery systems as irrigated agriculture does. In the winter, flooded agricultural fields, particularly rice and corn, provide a surrogate wetland for waterfowl today. It also benefits shorebirds and other varieties of wetland-dependent species. Much of the initial funding for wetlands conservation came from hunters through the purchase of state and federal duck stamps. Currently, California receives $11 million from that tax base, the majority of which supports the management of the Department of Fish and Wildlife state lands. Other funding sources for wetland management include voluntary state and federal programs that offer financial contributions to private landowners. In return, these private landowners protect wetland habitat or adopt certain waterfowl-friendly management practices. Hunter-based conservation nonprofits, such as California Waterfowl Association and Ducks Unlimited, assist the Fish and Wildlife Department in carrying out much of this important habitat work. Most people are unaware that 2/3 of today's wetlands are found on private lands, most of which are also operated as duck clubs. The economic activity from hunting not only allows many landowners to keep their lands as open space, but also supports jobs and businesses in the communities where hunting occurs. According to a 2011 U.S. Fish and Wildlife Survey, hunters' expenditures in California totaled over $964 million. The public-private partnership between state and federal government, hunters, and landowners has restored hundreds of thousands of acres of wetland habitat. The restoration of lost wetlands and science-based wildlife management practices has also increased waterfowl populations from a low of 3 million birds in the 1980s to a population of more than 6 million birds today. Still, many challenges remain. Securing reliable and affordable water supplies for managed wetlands and wildlife-friendly agriculture. Preventing encroachment of wetlands from urban development or other incompatible land uses. Securing public funding for proven incentive-based conservation programs on private lands. Sadly, we can never completely erase the destruction of our historic wetlands in California. We can help by continuing to conserve wetland habitat and provide the resources and tools necessary to ensure that migratory waterfowl and other wetland-dependent species continue to thrive in our state. I hope you've enjoyed your California Waterfowl Association virtual wetlands tour today. Don't forget to visit our website at www.calwaterfowl.org.